A few people asked me to rank the Major League Soccer stadiums. I was like, nah, it would be a bit controversial. Then I remembered it's a video about stadiums, not a solution to peace in the Middle East. On that note, have they tried rock, paper, scissors yet? Oh, and if your team's stadium is ranked low on the list, please don't be offended. My opinion on the subject is about as valuable as the Zimbabwean dollar. Okay, it's worth more than that, but with that being said, let's just get into it. We will start off with Yankee Stadium. Well, what can I say? It's a mighty fine baseball stadium, but you're in the wrong major league, New York City FC. Bless them, it can be confusing. Both sports use balls and play on grass. I can understand how you'd mix them up. Hopefully you get that sorted sooner rather than later. Gillette Stadium. Yes, it is too big for New England Revolution, but the main reason it's ranked so low is the lack of any covered seating, which for some reason isn't important in American football, but soccer fans expect not to be rained on or burned by the sun. It also has a synthetic turf field, which isn't a deal breaker, but natural grass is just way better. It's a perfectly fine NFL stadium though. Toyota Stadium. Although there has been some roofing added since these shots were taken, you'd expect most of the seats to be covered in such a hot climate. I mean, even a canvas-type sunshade would do. They can't be that expensive, can they? Drive Pink Stadium. It is only the temporary home to Inter Miami, so you might expect it to be lacking in certain aspects. But it still looks fine, especially the colours of the seats. But yeah, the temporary seating is a bit of an eyesore, especially on the outside. But don't fret, Miami has a new stadium coming soon. Dick's Sporting Goods Park. I've never really been a big fan of Dick's, but the stadium's not too bad. What? I just think that other stores have better deals. Anyway, that's the thing with the MLS. Because most of the stadiums are pretty good, even the lower ranked ones are perfectly fine stadiums. The design is just a little bit unimaginative. The seating forms a perfectly symmetrical U-shape. Actually no, it's asymmetrical. Nissan Stadium. Once again, it's not a bad NFL stadium, quite similar to Gillette Stadium. There's also no covered seating and it is too big for Nashville SC, who will be getting their own purpose-built stadium soon. I put it ahead of Gillette Stadium simply due to the natural grass. Saputo Stadium. Well, it literally lives in the shadow of a more remarkable stadium. It is a very European-looking ground. It looks like something you might see in Germany, despite it having an Italian-sounding name in a French-speaking area of a mostly English-speaking country. But yeah, it's a nice little stadium. I like the colour scheme as well. When it comes to place names, Place is probably the least imaginative possible. It's yet another stadium that's a little bit too big for the team. So they block out the upper tier with these canvas shades to create a more intimate atmosphere. It's a nice stadium, but just not perfect for the MLS. Also, they already have a retractable roof, so maybe they should lend those canvas shades to FC Dallas. Soldier Field. This stadium gets a bit of hate for some reason. A lot of people don't like that such a historic venue was completely redeveloped. I think it looks good, and they did keep part of the old stadium. It does look slightly odd though, like a brand new stadium fell from the sky and landed in the old one. And obviously it is too big for Chicago Fire, but it's not such a big deal. And yes, there isn't really any covered seating, but if they can survive a Chicago winter, then what is a bit of rain or hot sun? Rio Tinto Stadium. I'm not loving the name of both the team and the stadium. They're both trying to be Spanish. Rio Tinto is an Australian mining company, but fair enough, it's named after a river in Spain that's known for mining. I don't know why they chose the name Real Salt Lake though. Anyway, the stadium's alright, and you have a nice view of the mountains. There are just better ones ahead. Dignity Health Sports Park. Ooh, controversial. what's probably the biggest club isn't in the top 10. It's a good stadium, and was for a little while the opposite of a few of the stadiums on this list, where it was a soccer stadium too small for its NFL team. There's no wow factor, but it gets the job done. Subaru Park. The location may have boosted it up a few spots. Come to think of it, it is rather similar to Dick's Sporting Goods Park, which was way down the list. But you know what they say, location, location, location. It's situated right by the Delaware River, and you get a view of the Commodore Barry Bridge. It does also have a much nicer facade than Dick's Sporting Goods Park, and a better sponsor's name. Red Bull Arena is more or less a clone of an Austrian stadium. Ironically, there's also an Austrian stadium called Red Bull Arena, but it's not that one, it's Vertice Stadium. The curvy roof provides cover for all of the seats. It also looks quite good. PayPal Park, formerly known as Earthquake Stadium. I did warn them that they were on shaky ground naming their stadium that, and PayPal Park rolls right off the tongue. The stadium has an open end akin to Oxford's Kassam Stadium, although it looks a lot better, and they presumably left that end open so spectators can see the planes landing and taking off from the adjacent airport. Very cool. Other than that, it's a very clean and modern design. I really like this one. BMO Field. Another three-sided stadium, except it's not near an airport but right by Lake Ontario. It's quite a simple stadium compared to the others in the top 10, there's just something about it. It's greater than the sum of its parts. I especially like how this part of the roof dips down lower than the main stands. Audi Field. The exterior looks great, but the interior is even better. I really like the red and grey colour scheme, and I also like how each side of the stadium is a little different. Lumen Field. Now this is a stadium that has almost everything going for it. It has plenty of covered seating, it's got an excellent view of the Seattle skyline, it has uniqueness with that unusual seating situation, as well as the vertical scoreboard. And importantly, it's not necessarily too big for the Sounders, who have an average attendance of over 40,000 per game. Not to mention that the stadium itself looks fantastic. And I can keep going, the location is pretty cool as well, just sitting on the dock of the bay. Artificial turf though, so not perfect. Allianz Field. The first word that springs to mind when I see this stadium is sleek. It is a very new stadium, so I guess you'd expect that. The way that one end of the roof canopy dips down kinda reminds me of Aviva Stadium in Dublin. Also, the artwork on the seats looks excellent. Not that that matters on game day. BBVA Stadium. You might be thinking it's a little high, but in my opinion it has the best looking exterior for a soccer specific stadium going round. Plus the striking orange seats, and from some of those seats you get a partial view of Houston's skyline. This section of roof is a little strange though. Providence Park. It is probably the most unique stadium in Major League Soccer, other than the baseball stadium, I guess. It certainly has plenty of character, having evolved over the years from a Chinese vegetable garden into an athletic stadium and then into a soccer-specific stadium. Some people say it's ugly, but I quite like it. Exploria Stadium. Despite the subtropical climate, it's another very European-looking stadium. There is plenty of purple throughout, and it being one of my favourite colours may have swayed my opinion a little. But that being said, this stadium has all the bases covered. Bank of California Stadium. Built right next door to perhaps LA's most famous stadium. The curvy exterior looks amazing. The interior is not bad either. And one interesting little design feature is that they left small sections of the stadium open so you can catch a glimpse of the LA skyline and the mountains in the distance. Interestingly, right outside the stadium is Los Angeles' oldest palm tree. Oh yeah, I said interestingly, didn't I? Whoops. Children's Mercy Park. Firstly, props to Kansas City for giving the naming rights to a children's hospital, but I'm not giving it bonus points for that. This stadium looks fantastic, especially the helter-skelter style roof. Very unique. One downside is that the stadium is potentially in danger of a NASCAR flying off the track and damaging the stadium. I have to clarify, that was a joke, because I sometimes get people in the comments who would say something like,
"No, that's impossible. There's a perimeter fence around the track and there's no way a car could clear us, idiot."
And just like in Formula 1, Mercedes-Benz comes out on top. There is a natural inclination that I have to favour the underdog, but I have to put that aside and give this remarkable stadium the respect it deserves. Despite being around for 4 years, it still looks like something from decades into the future. Everything from its pinwheel exterior, the Pantheon-inspired roof, and the 360-degree video screen are just added bonuses to the incredible stadium that lies within. Now, it would be a little unfair and difficult to try and rank stadiums that have barely been finished, so I have to lump all the new ones together, but I'm fairly sure they'd all be in the top 10. Columbus Crew Stadium. It hasn't been finished yet, but so far it does look incredible. I especially like the dark metal exterior. I can't wait to see the finished product. Q2 Stadium. It's perhaps my favourite of the brand new stadiums. It's a stunning piece of architecture with its origami-style roof, beautiful green seats, and I like how they've kept these sections open for a bit of airflow and natural light. Oh no, I'm beginning to sound like an interior designer. West End Stadium. It's quite the opposite of Q2 Stadium, with an elaborate exterior made up of hundreds of aluminium fins that are embedded with LED lights. It has more of a toned down interior with more of a bowl construction, but those blue and orange seats look great. So there you have it, those were the MLS 2021 stadiums ranked. I mean, there's going to be like 11 or 12 teams that think they have the best stadium, so most people will disagree with this ranking, but that's okay. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, have a good one.